Hi, I'm Maria from Read Fine Books, and this is the Frankenstein Tag. This is an original tag by Heather from Heather's Heroes and Heroines. And if you don't know her channel, please check it out. She has the most awesome book club reading dead people, and her activities around that club are amazing. All of these prompts I have researched in advance because they are really difficult. Here we go. The first prompt is Victor Frankenstein, a character who constantly complains or avoids taking responsibility for their actions. That for me would be Hindley from Uttering Heights. This character was very repulsing. I I hated him. He feels defeated by life. He gave me the most awful feelings. It doesn't feel like he has a reason to be this bad, but he is awful, and almost everything bad that happens to him is his own doing. So, yes, a character I didn't like at all. He definitely avoids taking responsibility for anything. Hindley from Uttering Heights. The next prompt is Elizabeth, a character who's in love with the wrong person. Um, so this year I read lots of classics from the same time period as Frankenstein, and they all have lots of characters that are mostly in love with the wrong person. Elizabeth is one of them, but you have Jane Eyre falling in love with Mr. Rochester, who is, let's face it, first and foremost, a very toxic employer and not at all a good influence for her. You have Catherine in Wuthering Heights who falls for Heathcliff. Heathcliff is not bad to begin with, but he is very traumatized. So, um, falling in love with him is definitely a bad influence for Catherine. You also have Mrs. De Winter falling in love with Maxim De Winter. Maxim De Winter first falling in love with Rebecca. All these characters are actually terrible at understanding what they need from a relationship, and that is what makes the books so fascinating in the end. Falling in love with the right person, having healthy relationships, who would want to read that? So, yes, classics are amazing for this kind of bad relationships. Lots to choose from. The Monster, a character who could have been good had their past traumas not led them in the direction of evil. And yes, for that as well, classics are amazing. Take your pick. Heathcliff is, for example, in Wuthering Heights, extremely traumatized. I'm sure he could have been a better man had he been raised in a proper environment, and I feel his traumas really excuse his behavior for the most part. But yes, a very traumatized character. Also, Maxim de Winter in Rebecca, he is traumatized by Rebecca, the poor thing. Of course, nothing can excuse what he did, but yes, the trauma is there as well. The next prompt is Henry, a sidekick who suffers because of their association with the main character. I think that a great character for that is Hassan in The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. He will definitely suffer a lot for being friends with Amir. And if you haven't read Khaled Hosseini's The Kite Runner, for me that is definitely a modern classic. The way characters are portrayed in there, the complexity of everyone, the complexity of the traumas, the situations the characters go through, the different culture portrayed there, a modern classic for sure. The next one is Justine, a character who takes the fall for someone else's crime. And for that, I would like to talk about I Must Betray You by Ruth Acevetis. This book is a historical fiction and a young adult book. It talks about a boy living in communist Romania, and his sister is the one who gets blamed for lots of things that happen in the novel. Yet she is not to blame at all. But everything there in the end is all gray because they all have little choice in what they can or cannot do. So, a very complex novel from that point of view. It makes you wonder a lot, what if this was me? How would I have reacted in this kind of a situation? And it was definitely a wonderful, great read. That is it for this tag. I tag Ollie from Criminoli because I've seen his Frankenstein video review and it was just wonderful. I'm sure he'll love to think about Frankenstein a bit more. I also tag Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers because we read Frankenstein together and she loved it as well. And Kelly from Kelly Reads a Lot because I know she read this book as well. Have fun with this tag. I'm Maria from Read Fine Books. Thank you so much for watching.